Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media.
Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to familiar territory and a place close to my heart. Island Park is an incorporated town in northeast Idaho. It's only 500 feet wide and boasts the longest main street of any city at 33 miles long. The elevation here is 6,293 feet above sea level, making it the highest city in Idaho. Peaks surrounding the town reach over 10,000 feet high, which gives you an idea of how rigorous and demanding the terrain can be. According to the Köppen climate classification system, this area is very near the subarctic climate classification, with long cold winters and short, warm summers. Island Park is exceptional compared to areas of similar altitude in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, as it gets around 30 inches of rainfall each year, nearly tripling surrounding areas. This rainfall allows dense growths of evergreens like lodgepole pine and Douglas fir. In the fall, deciduous trees like Rocky Mountain maple, alder, birch, and quaking aspen trees dazzle observers with their red and golden leaves. The ample rainfall allows dense thickets of western chokecherry, golden currant, serviceberry, and thimbleberry bushes to offer up their sweet perfection in season. Along the numerous ponds, you'll find willow and alder bushes potentially hiding one of the many dangerous animals that call this place home. Near Henry's Lake lies the Caribou-Targhee National Forest with its expansive wilderness that spans parts of Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. There's abundant wildlife here, with mule deer, elk, and moose commonly spotted. The predators here include bobcats, black bears, coyotes, cougars, wolves, and grizzly bears. Its remote privacy has allowed grizzlies to flourish here, and this year has been a very busy one when it comes to grizzlies. Local cattlemen have reported many of their cattle falling prey to hungry grizzlies. The moose population has been decimated by a tick infestation, according to Idaho Fish and Game officers, but ticks aren't the only things that kill moose. In May of 2024, a sow grizzly and her cubs began displaying aggressive tendencies toward people. They'd become food conditioned and had lost their fear and tendency to avoid civilization. The sow and her cubs were put down because they represented a danger to humans. On June 6, 2024, a man in Island Park was forced to kill a charging grizzly as it bore down on his girlfriend, and that episode will be out this Thursday. According to the Idaho Fish and Game, this year is the first year grizzlies have been documented to be west of Interstate 15 and are clearly and rapidly expanding their territory. Around 7 a.m. on Sunday, September 1st, 2024, two elk hunters were sneaking through the timber near Divide Creek Road. They were archery hunters, which is most successfully done in camouflage, and silently or quietly progressing through the forest or along meadows. Archery hunters frequently wear animal scents, like skunk or elk urine, to mask their own. To blend in with the forest even more, they'll often use sound-producing devices known as calls that will mimic the sound of bugling bull elk rivals, lovesick cow elk searching for a mate or a herd, or a lost and panicked calf trying to find its mother. The archery hunters' identities have not been made public as of the date of the production of this video, so we will refer to them as Bill and Ted. Now, these two hunters were experienced archery hunters, and they knew they were venturing into dangerous country, but could not have known to expect grizzly bears in this area. The ferocious predators have been observed on the east side of Interstate 15 connecting Idaho and Montana, but not yet on the west side. As far as the hunters knew, they were not in grizzly bear country. Just the same, they both packed powerful sidearms, which is best practice in the rugged and remote mountains of western states. As Bill and Ted made their way through dense lodgepole pines, they were likely bugling to locate bull elk and mewing like lost cow elk in an attempt to find a herd or even a straggler. A common bugling strategy is one hunter calls while the other positions himself along a predictable path to intercept the incoming game animal. If they can fool the forest king into bow range, they might get a shot and harvest some healthy meat. If not, they reboot the plan and try again. It isn't clear if they were drawing in any elk, but one thing is for certain, a very large male grizzly bear had heard the dinner bell and was coming in on a rope. The archery hunters were taken completely by surprise by the grizzly's thundering charge from a few dozen yards away. Grizzly bear paws have a thick rubber-like sole that distributes their weight and allows for near silence as they stalk. As the hungry boar broke through the brush, it must have caught Ted in its vision first, as it headed directly toward him. In the confusion of a massive gray-brown blur streaking through the green and tan forest, the men yelled to ward off the bear as it closed in on Ted. Both hunters pulled their sidearms from their holsters and hoped the grizzly would veer off in a bluff charge. But, as in many bear attack stories, that's not what happened. The angry boar slapped Ted to the ground after the first of several shots rang out from the hunter's pistols. Despite having several rounds sent in its direction, and likely at least a few through its body, the grizzly bit onto Ted's arm and tore at his flesh. Bill's shots may have been the deciding factor in ending the attack, given he was only a short distance from the bear as it mauled Ted. After enough hot lead had been sent its way, the wounded bear backed off. Its attack on Ted had been curtailed by the damage and incapacitation imparted by the defensive rounds fired by the hunters. The grizzly spun and disappeared into the brush, leaving the men shaken and Ted bleeding and in pain. Listening as the bear broke a retreat through the brush, Bill approached his hunting partner to assess the damage done to his arm. Both men retrieved their cell phones and dialed 911 in near unison to reach out for help. The dispatcher contacted emergency medical helicopter personnel, and a rescue plan was underway. Ted was gathered up and flown to Eastern Idaho Regional Medical Center in Idaho Falls. His wounds were considered serious, but not life-threatening, due to the preparation and reaction of Ted and his hunting partner. The Idaho Fish and Game, Fremont County Sheriff's deputies, and Caribou-Targhee National Forest Emergency Medical Service teams wasted no time in sending responders to interview both hunters and begin fact and evidence gathering around the incident. Grizzlies are federally protected in the lower 48, and each time one is killed, the circumstances surrounding it must be looked into. The IFG determined that Bill and Ted's grizzly encounter was a surprise event at a close distance. The hunters were found to have acted in self-defense and would not be charged with any violation due to their actions. Idaho Fish and Game Supervisor Matt Perrin commented that he was hoping for a speedy recovery from the injuries and trauma for both hunters, and remarked how wonderful their family members were. While investigators were at the attack scene, and after a brief search, the bear's carcass was located and its death was confirmed. The carcass was recovered and removed as evidence for further analysis. To understand the causes of the attack, investigators searched the area and found no animal carcass that was cached by the grizzly. It was a boar, so it was not protecting cubs. Speaking of cubs, our Cub Tier membership on Patreon, linked below, will give you ad-free early access to our episodes, and the $3 per month goes a long way in helping me continue to produce educational and entertaining content like this. Authorities indicate this is the first grizzly bear attack on a human in the area this year. In the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, there are reportedly an estimated 1,900 grizzly bears in an area of 18,000 square miles. This means grizzly bear density is around one grizzly for every 9.5 square miles. To give you an idea of that area, take a part of your city that is 3 miles long and 3 miles wide and drop a grizzly bear in the middle of it. For every 30 miles you travel down a gravel road on your mountain bike, you may be traversing the boundaries of 10 grizzly bear territories. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. What do you think archery hunters can do to avoid grizzly bear attacks and still enjoy bow hunting? Is this attack another case of two apex predators doing what they do? Does this attack remind you of the attack on Ronnie Leeming and his father, or the two Idaho archery hunters that occurred almost exactly 11 months before this one? I've linked to both episodes in the video article below for your review. I'll gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so please post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it.
Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.